teaching the second foreign language, teaching involves an open-minded plan for helping students meet and exceed educational goals. Teaching styles may differ from teacher to teacher and class to class, yet every teaching objective must include a structured but flexible process for student advancement. With the second foreign language, interactive teaching styles incorporate a multitude of goals beneath a single roof. Interactive classes are designed around a simple principle. Without practical application, students often fail to comprehend the depths of the study material. In teaching the second foreign language, interactive training styles provide four basic forms of feedback. Measurable student accomplishments. Teachers making use of interactive teaching styles are better equipped to assess how well students master a given subject material. Flexibility in teaching. Applying training methods that involve two-way communications enables the teacher to make quick adjustments in processes and approaches. Practice makes perfect. Interactive instruction enhances the learning process. Student motivation. Two-way teaching dispels student passivity. Applying interactive education. Whereas students often lose interest during lecture style teaching, interactive teaching styles promote an atmosphere of attention and participation, make it interesting, make it exciting, and make it fun. Telling is not teaching, and listening is not learning. There are the following guidelines to express the focus of interactive educational teaching styles. Encourage student participation. Use questions that stimulate response, discussion, and a hands-on experience. Use teaching aids that press for answers and capture and hold the students' attention. Set up a work group environment. Involve yourself as well as the student. 5 interactive teaching styles that make a difference. Number 1 is brainstorming. Various techniques. In teaching the second foreign language, interactive brainstorming is typically performed in group sessions. The process is useful for generating creative thoughts and ideas. Brainstorming helps students learn to pull together. Types of interactive brainstorming include structured and unstructured, reversal negative thinking, nominal group relationships, online interactions such as chat, forums, email, team idea mapping, group passing, individual brainstorming. The second is think, pair, and share. Establish a problem or question. Pair the students, give each pair sufficient time to form a conclusion. Permit each participant to define the conclusion in his or her personal voice. You can also request that one student explain a concept while the other student evaluates what is being learned. Apply different variations of the process. The third is buzz session. In teaching the second foreign language, participants come together in session that focus on a single topic. Within each group, every student contributes thoughts and ideas, encourage discussion and collaboration among the students within each group. Everyone should learn from one another's input and experiences. Number 4 is incident process. In teaching the second foreign language, teaching styles involve a case study format, but the process is not so rigid. As a full case study training session, the focus is on learning how to solve real problems that involve real people. Small groups of participants provide details from actual incidents and then ask to develop a workable solution. Number 5 is a question and answer sessions. In teaching the second foreign language, on the heels of every topic introduction, we should put prior to formal lecturing, and the teacher requires students to join down questions pertaining to the subject matter. The lecture begins after the cards are collected, and along the road the teacher reads and answers the student-generated questions. Some tips for a good session maybe as follows. The first is randomize rather than following the order of collection of some alphabetical name list. Yeah, establish some systems that evoke student guesswork concerning the order of student involvement and access, keeping open-ended. If necessary, rephrase student questions so that participants must analyze, evaluate, and then justify the answers. Hope it up, gradually increase the speed of the question and answer. At some point, teacher should limit here the responses to a single answer, moving faster and faster from question to question. Time's up. In teaching the second foreign language, options for interactive training styles number into the dozens. In a brief PowerPoint presentation on interactive teaching techniques, we can provide a concise description of different approaches to interactive educational formats. In teaching the second foreign language, student-centered learning, student-centered approach is a kind of approach to education focusing on the needs of the students rather than those of others involved in the educational process, such as teachers or maybe administrators. This approach has many implications for the design of curriculum, course content, and the interactivity of courses. In teaching the second foreign language, student-centered learning, that is putting students first, is in contrast to teacher-centered learning. Student-centered learning is focused on the students' needs, abilities, interests, and learning styles, with the teacher as a facilitator of learning. This classroom teaching method acknowledges student voice as central to the learning experience for every learner. In teaching the second foreign language, teacher-centered learning has a teacher at its center, or in the active role, and students in a passive role, receptive role. Student-centered learning requires students to be active, responsible participants in their own learning. Traditionally, in teaching the second foreign language, teachers direct the learning process and students assume a receptive role in the education. But with the advent of progressive education in the 19th century and the influence of psychology, some educators have largely replaced traditional curriculum approaches with hands-on activities and group work, with a child determines on his own what he wants to do in class. Key amongst these changes is the premise that students actively construct their own learning. Theories like John Dewey, Jean Piaget, Lev Vygotsky, whose collective work focused on how students learn, is primarily responsible for the move to student-centered learning. Carl Rogers' ideas about the formation of the individual also contributed to student-centered learning. In teaching the second foreign language, student-centered learning means reversing the traditional teacher-centered understanding of the learning process and putting students at the center of the learning process. Maria Montessori was also an influence in center-based learning, where preschool children learn through play. In teaching the second foreign language, student-centered learning allows students to actively participate in discovery learning processes from an autonomous viewpoint. Students consume the entire class time, constructing new understanding of the material being learned without being passive, but rather proactive. A variety of hands-on activities are administered in order to promote successful learning. Unique yet distinctive learning styles are encouraged in a student-centered classroom. In teaching the second foreign language with the use of valuable learning skills, students are capable of achieving lifelong learning goals, which can further enhance student motivation in the classroom. Self-determination theory focuses on the degree to which an individual's behavior is self-motivated and self-determined. Therefore, when students are given the opportunity to coach their learning becomes an incentive, because learning can be seen as a form of personal growth. Students are encouraged to utilize self-regulation practices in order to reflect on his or her work. For that reason, learning can also be constructive in the sense that the student is in full control of his or her learning. In teaching the second foreign language over the past few decades, a paradigm shift in curriculum has occurred where the teacher acts as a facilitator in a student-centered classroom. Such emphasis on learning has enabled students to make a self-directed alternative to learning. In the teacher-centered classroom, teachers are the primary source for knowledge. Therefore, the focus of learning is to gain information as it is proctored to the student. Also, role learning or memorization of teacher notes or lectures was the norm a few decades ago. On the other hand, students at the classroom are now the norm, where active learning is strongly encouraged. In teaching the second foreign language, students are now researching material permanent to the success of their academic knowledge production is seen as a standard. In order for a teacher to veer towards a student-centered classroom, he or she must become aware of the diverse backgrounds of his or her learners. To that end, the incorporation of a few educational practices such as Bloom's taxonomy, Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences can be beneficial to a student-centered classroom because it promotes various models of diverse learning styles. And in teaching the second foreign language, the following provides a few examples of why student-centered learning should be integrated in the curriculum. Strengthens the student motivation, promotes peer communication, reduces disruptive behavior, builds student-teacher relationships, promote discovery, active learning, responsibility for one's own learning. These changes have impacted educators' methods of teaching in the way students learn. In essence, one might say that we teach and learn in a constructivist learning paradigm. It is important for teachers to acknowledge the increasing role and function of his or her educational practices. As our educational practices changes, so does our approach to teaching and learning also change. Therefore, the mindset about teaching and learning is constantly evolving into new, innovative ways to reach diverse learners. In teaching the second foreign language, when a teacher allows their students to make inquiries or when set the stage for his or her academic success, learning is more productive. In teaching the second foreign language with the openings of a student-centered learning environment, knowledge production is vital when providing students the opportunity to explore their own learning styles. In that respect, successful learning also occurs when learners are fully engaged in the active learning process. A further distinction from a teacher-centered classroom to that of a student-centered classroom is when the teacher acts as a facilitator. In essence, the teacher's goal in the learning process is to guide students into making new interpretations of the learning material. In teaching the second foreign language in terms of curriculum practice, the student has a choice in what they want to study and how they are going to apply their newfound knowledge. According to Ernest Stringer, student learning processes are greatly enhanced when they participate in deciding how they may demonstrate their competence in the body of knowledge or the performance of skills. This pedagogical implication enables the student to establish his or her unique learning objectives. This aspect of learning holds learner accountable for production of knowledge that he or she is capable of producing. In this stage of learning, the teacher evaluates the learner by providing honest and timely feedback on individual progress, building rapport with students in a sessional strategy that educators would utilize in order to coach students' growth in a student-centered classroom. Through effective communication skills, the teacher is able to address students' needs, interest, and overall engagement in the learning material. According to James Henderson, there are three basic principles of democratic living, which he says are not yet established in our society in terms of education. The three basic tenets, which he calls the three S of teaching for democratic living, are subject learning. Students learn best from subject matter thoroughly presented. Self-learning, one must engage oneself in the generative process. Social learning, empathy is wealth in this regard. Social interaction with diverse others, the target for generosity.